Hey guys, and welcome to the Lazy Lemon Creations podcast. My name is Lindsay, and you can find me on Instagram as Lazy Lemon Creations, and you can find me on Ravelry as Lazy Lemon. I just updated my Ravelry quite a bit with all of my projects because I realized that I hadn't been doing that. My bad, sorry. So if you've been looking for links for things and they've not been there, that's totally on me and I apologize. I live in the heart of the New River Valley with my husband and our 2 kids. They are all upstairs right now attempting to go to sleep because it is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. It is the last sleep that they have before Christmas break. Tomorrow is their last day of school. As of 1:30, they are done until January 8th, so that's going to be exciting. And so my husband's doing bedtime right now, so fingers crossed they all stay upstairs. This is my podcast about knitting, crocheting, cross stitch, everything like that. Today it is all knitting. I haven't gotten a chance to touch my cross stitch that I did find, but that's just because I've had an order that I wanted to put in. I had an order of things to make for other people that got put in, so I've been focused on that. So this will probably be the only podcast of December due to Christmas being next Monday, and then after that it gets a little bit busier just with the kids being home and stuff like that. So I might not resume back until January, but we shall see. We never know. It just depends on how the schedule goes. So let's jump into it. We're going to start off with some FOs. The first one being the Star Top Beanie. Here it is. By Jody Brown, one of the sisters of the Grocery Girls. And there's the top of it. There it is. It's an amazing hat. It's absolutely beautiful. It's so easy to work up. I am doing these without pom-poms, and I am doing them for kids, even though I'm doing like the adult small size. And I do not have my ends woven in because these are for an order, and so I want the entire order to go out at the same time. So I want to weave in all the ends together, and they match the Psychedelic Sunset socks. And so the hat and socks are made. This was made with Psychedelic Sunset by Knit Picks Felici. It's the Magic Heel sock that I used, and this is the Psychedelic Sunset color, and then it is also, it's just held double with Knit Picks Stroll in the Dove Heather colorway. And so that's where that gray is popping through, just to give it a nice extra thickness to the hat and to use up the rest of that yarn. So the hat was knit on a US 6, which is a 4mm. It was a 16-inch cable, and I'm really happy with it. It will be for one of the children that the order is for. The order is for 3 different kids' items. And so this hat and socks is for the girl, the only girl. Then they have 2 boys. So then the next finished object that I have, again, the ends are not woven in because they're all part of the order, is a pair of kid socks. And again, Magic Heel right there. There's both of them. Like, I've got both of them. This is Knit Picks Felici in the colorway Zen, I want to say. Let me check my notes. Yeah, it's Zen. And for these, I used a 32-inch cable. I did a 20-row cuff of 2x2 rib. I did a I dropped it. I did a 10-row leg, 40-row heel, 30-row foot, and then the toe. I was using my own son's foot as measurement for that, and that way the heel is both, it fits at their current age, but then it is also something that they can grow with, so I was excited to get that done. I cast on 48 stitches for that sock when my normal is 64. And then the last sock that I have here that I have some light bulb stitch markers in, I'm just gonna leave them into the sock. There's no point in worrying about it. Again, the ends are not woven in, even though the sock is done. But here's the sock. And this colorway, it is also Knit Picks Felici. Under the Sea. Under the sea. Don't copyright me. Anyway, this is also 48 stitches, magic loop, magic heel, sock, the same recipe of a 20 row cuff, 10 row leg, 40 row heel, 30 row foot, just for these kids' socks so that her little boys can get the most out of them without feeling like they will grow out of them too fast, because kids don't keep at all. And excuse me as I just take off all of these light bulb stitch markers off of these socks. I'll add them to their canister later at some point, I don't know, but I had the light bulb stitch markers on these. So all the kids' socks are done. Let's see here, we got this one and this one and this one. So we've got all the socks together. They are finished, and the one hat that is finished. And that is all of my FOs. That's it. That's what I've done. And then my whip that I have, hold on, I want to make sure I don't drop my stitches. My whip that I have here is the hat that corresponds with the Zen socks. And it is, here, I fixed my stitches here. I'm in the middle of it, and I'm just holding the 2 strands double, as you can see right there. Whoop. I just heard a big thud from upstairs. Hopefully everybody's okay. But it's the colorway Zen. It's the star top beanie as well. I'm also doing it for a kid. I've got my beginning of round marker right here, and then I have my progress keeper right there. I don't know if he's easy to recognize, but that is Santa with his bag. Let's see if I can get something that's like black that we can maybe see him against. Come on, Santa. Focus. I don't know that he's gonna focus, but that's Santa, and that's okay. The stitch marker is from, well, I call it a progress keeper. It is from Twin Mountain Handcrafts. I absolutely love them. I ordered 3 sets this past update for Christmas. I got Santa, I got Frosty the Snowman faces, and I got Christmas trees. And so I was really excited about that order. So they're through all of my projects here. But I've got this in the same Dove Heather straw with the Knit Picks Felici Zen. I've got it in my Daisy Girl and Co bag so that I've got both of my balls of yarn. 16-inch needle, magic loop. Again, it's a US 6, which is a 4mm, and I'm just knitting away. And that's my current words whip. There you go. It's my current whip. So that's what I'm focusing on strongly. Like, that's got my attention for most of my knitting. And then I don't know if I talked about it last episode because I don't know if I had ordered it, but I'm going to talk about it now. Actually, I can check and see if I talked about it for acquisitions. Is that I got some yarn way back in I don't know. Maybe it was November. Maybe it was October. When did I get that? No, it had to have been November because they weren't releasing this until November. So I don't know when I got this yarn. I could probably check my yarn in book because that would help me for my 200 grams. Anyway, why am I yammering on? I can literally just show you and it would be fine. I got the new Knit Picks Felicini or Felicini, or I don't know, however you want to say it. I'm going to say Felicini. Felicini. Yeah, that's how I'm going to say it. This colorway is Ambrosia Salad. I think that's how you pronounce that. But the other color I got, it's right here, it's already caked up, is, let's see if it'll focus. This is called Lemon Bar. And it's yellows, whites, blues, and there is a little bit of brown in it. And when I say a little bit of brown, like if you look on the outside here, you can barely distinguish between the brown and the white, at least from the camera view that I have. You can barely distinguish it. But I really wanted to knit it up. I wanted to see what its difference was compared to, you know, their Felici. So I've been knitting this. There you go. See, you see how that brown right there, right between that yellow, right there? So yeah, that's the color. My elbow's on the table. That's the colorway. And it's just a repeat, and they're really small repeats of the color. So I'm getting about 2, some areas 3 if it overlaps, but typically about 2 rows per color on these socks. So it's like micro striping almost. My recipe, 20 row cuff of 2x2 rib. My leg, I typically do a 30 round leg, but because these are 100 grams, I'm going to try a 50 row leg and just see how that works for me. Recently, when I've been wearing hand knit socks and even regular store-bought socks, I don't know what this is, but here recently with wearing hand knit and store-bought socks, they're rolling on my foot. The heels are not staying where they're supposed to, and both of the heels are curling inward. And so I don't know what's causing it. I don't know if it's the specific way I'm walking. I've noticed it more with my Nike slides that I wear, so I don't know if it's just because the shoe also doesn't support the way my foot is supposed to be inside of a shoe and a sock, and so therefore it's just rolling around. But it's really annoying. So I'm going to try a 50 row leg, see if that stays up on my leg a little bit better, and see how this sock works up. I like it. Texture wise, very, very, very similar to Felici. When I first got it, I wanted to say that it was less acrylic feeling than Felici. So here, when you're holding, one second. Here we go. When you're holding Felici old and Felicini new, this has a more acrylic feel to it, and this has a more natural wool feel to it. But it's the same blend, okay? Felici right here, 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. Felicini, 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. And I will show you that on both labels, maybe. I don't know. But literally, it's right there. And it says it. I'm not lying. I've read it right off the labels. So, it's the exact same makeup of yarn. It knits the same as Felici does. I don't feel like I have any issues with it or anything like that. There might be a tad bit more splitting that I'm noticing, but I normally don't cake up my Felici, so I'm wondering if that had anything to do with it. So, it's on Magic Loop, 32-inch cable. It's a US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter, 64 stitches. That is my sock recipe, is Magic Loop, 64 stitches, 32-inch cable, 20 row cuff. Typically a 30 row leg, but like, hey, if this 50 row leg works, I'm gonna start using it. We'll see. But this is my on the go knitting. It's in my bag here that has my car keys in it because this is what I take on the go. This is my bag that Amber from Amie Marie Knits gifted me. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And it holds so much. Like, it can even hold my wallet and probably a whole nother project in there. But that is my other whip. I'm gonna test the socks when they're done, hopefully by the new year. I don't know. There's that yawn. I really hope I don't start doing that again. I'm gonna test those socks hopefully by the new year and kind of see how they feel. Maybe it'll get my love back for Felici. I'm not a big fan of the micro striping. Kind of seems, I don't want to say busy, but I don't know. It just seems like it would be so much more difficult than if you just did big stripes. What was the problem with big stripes, Knitpicks? What was the problem? But I will say this, with all Felici colorways that I have knit, and okay, it might be because these are kids socks, I don't know, but the wider stripes do seem like a kid aesthetic, and these micro stripes, that's what I'm calling them, seem more sophisticated. So I will say that the sock doesn't look so cartoonish. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. Who knows? Who knows? And this was only my first buy of the Felicini yarn. That's what I'm calling it. I might buy more. I might not. I don't know. It will really depend on the new colorways that come out with it. I don't know how often they're going to do colorways because Felici was only released twice a year. So I don't know how often Felicini is going to be released or anything like that. This year, because I was trying it, I only got the 2 colors I really wanted to try. There was no point in buying the other yarns if I didn't know if I was going to like it. With original Felici, buy every color every single time it released because it's how I make my orders. I make my orders with the kids' colors and everything and socks for me. Felicini, I didn't know. I didn't know what had changed, so I went with the safe route. And that's my whips. So then the next thing I want to talk about is my gifts. Amy from Happy Little Yarn is one of the best. She sent me a Christmas gift and I did not wait to open it. I was selfish and greedy and could not wait until Christmas, so I went ahead and opened it. And she gifted me this Della Q bag, and it has the medium and then the small ones on the inside of it. And it's the rainbow colors and I love it so much. I also have the orange literally right here. Like I have the orange Della Q right here. I love the Della Q bags. They're absolutely great. Then she sent me some yarn, which I will get into in just a minute. I will show you guys. I was looking for the label. Where did it go? I threw the label down in there, but I know who it's by. Then she sent me a whole bunch of notions, which I have down in this little bitty tiny pouch. I'm just going to go through them really, really quickly. She gave me some snips. She gave me some stitch markers here from the Odd Girl Journal. Love them. They're super cute. That one behind the brain in a jar is Frankenstein. And then she sent me these needle stoppers, which if you can't tell are rock, paper, scissors. Scissors, rock, and then the hand is paper. And so it's literally rock, paper, scissors, and little needle stoppers, which I love. I thought that was super, super cute. So those were all the notions that she sent me. She also sent me a couple of stickers and stuff like that, but I let my daughter have those because when I opened this package, she went crazy for them. So I let my daughter have the stickers that came with it as well. The other thing she got me is from Kimber's Cozy Creations. And it's a sock blank. So I have never knit from a sock blank before, but she got it for me and I am in love. So it starts off pink. Here we go. And then goes into purple. And then the blue, the green, the yellow, the orange, it's my favorite, and then the red. And I had to unwind it right away and figure out which end to work from because I've never worked with a sock blank before, but I understand their construction. And so I've watched other people work from sock blanks and know that there is a specific ending that you pull from, and that it's noticeable once you start which end to do it from and everything like that. And so I immediately unraveled it and tried to figure out which end to work from, and I found it, and I'm in love with it, and I cannot wait to knit with this sock blank. So I was messaging Amy about it, talking about all the different options that I could make with this sock blank to really showcase the colors and the gradient, because that's what it is. I mean, it's a gradient, it's a rainbow, and it's so awesome. I am gonna knit a muscle burrow with it. I think it would look so cool with the colors slowly fading into one another, and I can use every single ounce of it without having to worry. And I'm just so excited. Oh, I'm so excited for it. So that is my New Year's cast on. I will finish, of course, the kids' socks and hats and stuff like that. Then I want to finish my lemon bar socks. And then this is my next cast on, is my gift from Amy, and I cannot wait. I am in love with it. It is gorgeous. It's going in my rainbow bag. I'm ecstatic, and I was so happy to get this. So I love it so much. I can't say enough about this. And it's in the rainbow bag, and this is where it's going to stay, and this is going to be the whole project, and I'm just giddy with excitement, and it's just so fun. Now, if only I could learn how to use 9-inch, well, I need to buy a 9-inch first to expand my knitting capabilities, but that's my next goal, is in 2024 is to learn to knit a new way, and that's going to be on 9-inch for socks. So we'll see. But yes, this was my mail, and no, it doesn't count to my grams in because it was a gift, so it doesn't count. So because this was, or will be, my last episode of December, I posted on Instagram a few days ago. It's probably been a week now, my bad. But I posted on Instagram asking if it was an ask me anything. So just whatever you wanted to ask me, you could. And I have the questions and answers here, so I'm going to go ahead and go over those. So MD Lesko 10 asks, what do you like to listen to while you work? Everything is the answer to that one. My favorite thing is other podcasts that are typically fiber related. So Crazy Sock Lady, Lisa of 72 Stitches, We Share Needles, Needles at the Ready, Sock Witchery, Amie Marie Knits, Happy Little Yarn. There are so many out there. I think I have 52 that I'm subscribed to on YouTube or something like that. I don't know. I just cycle through them and try and keep up as best as I can. But my favorite thing to do is find a podcast that has a lot of episodes that I have not seen, and I go back from the beginning and I watch them. I did it with Lisa. I did it with Kay. I've done it with We Share Needles. I did it with Lindsay of Sock Witchery, which were named twins, and I love that. Right now I am trying to finish up Needles at the Ready, and I love that they have a lot of episodes because it means that I can put on a 2-hour podcast episode and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta finish this by next week because they're gonna be releasing another one, and then I'm gonna be behind. I'm already behind. It doesn't matter. They can release 15 episodes. I'm gonna catch up eventually, just not right now. So I love that. And I will take recommendations for anything else. The other thing I listen to is Fantasy Fangirls podcast. They are doing deep dive right now of Iron Flame, and they started with Fourth Wing. They're going to be going into other books soon, and I like them a lot. I love them. I don't like them. I love them. And I'll talk about them with reading and watching. And yeah, so that's what I listen to while I work. Now, I'm a mom with 2 kids. One is in public school, one is in preschool. Preschool is only 2 days a week. So my son is with me a lot, and there are times when what I'm listening to is fire truck noises and ambulance noises and train noises because he likes vehicles. He loves those, and so he likes to play, and mommy sits in the floor with him while he plays, or Sometimes we'll even turn on the TV for it, and he likes to watch the simulations. Like, there is a fire truck simulation where you get to drive around in a fire truck and be a little character and put out fires, and he loves it. He also likes videos of just fire trucks and ambulances running down the road. Loves it. So a lot of the times I'm hearing a lot of sirens, so I'm a little cuckoo in the head for that one. Another question was asked again by MD Lesko, which I know who that is. She's actually a really close friend, was, what project are you dreading working on? And you know, funny you should ask, Mara. It's yours. It is your Deadpool blanket, which, editing Lindsay, if you can, find a picture of her Deadpool blanket and put it right here. I am still working on that thing. It is crochet, it is corner to corner, and it is black yarn. And then my Instagram just let me know I have a notification. It is a pain. It is a pain in my butt. I have not finished it. I will finish it. I want 2024 to be the year of crochet again for me. I really, really love crochet, and knitting is portable. So I think I'm going to have my knitting be my portable work. And I really want to get back into my crochet. I love it. It was what started me in this crafting world. And so I want to get back to my roots. And then her other question, no, not hers. Sorry. That was it from her. Another one is MK7 is what's your favorite project to work on? Vanilla knitting. Any form of vanilla knitting. And you will probably always see vanilla knitting on my podcast. My socks, vanilla. My hats, vanilla. That's why I like Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. Pattern plug. It's why I like the Muscle Burrow. Pattern plug by Isolde Teague. Simple and mindless, because I am at the point now in my knitting, and I am so proud to say this, I don't have to look. I am able to knit, and I am able to read my knitting. And so therefore, if I make a mistake, I can typically figure out what I did and go back and correct it. But most of it, I don't have to look at my knitting for. So I can watch my podcasts. I can listen to a movie, or, you know, be sitting at a restaurant with friends and family. Like, I don't have to constantly be looking at it. It doesn't require my attention like that anymore. And that is a comfort to me. So my favorite type of project to work on is vanilla, because it's so versatile for me and it's a comfort to me. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of patterned or complex patterns. I just, right now in my current chapter of life, of motherhood, don't have the patience to be working on something complicated and then get constantly interrupted by my family. Not that it's any fault of theirs, but I know myself would get frustrated if I have to count to 7 52 times because of them. So I'm avoiding the complications just to be safe. I'll do some complicated things later, okay? 2026, come back then. Amy of Happy Little Yarn said, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I think the woodchuck could chuck all the wood that the woodchuck wanted to chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. But I'm surprised I got that tongue twister down, considering that I stumble over very simple words, including my name. So thank you for keeping me sharp, Amy. I appreciate it. Love you. Another question from I'm Just Knitting is, have you had a lot of extra crafting time now that the kids are in school? I love that you asked that. And yes, I have. I have found myself knitting more that my kids are in school, and also knitting not less, but so last year when my daughter was in kindergarten and we did the school pickup line, she did not like to wait because she had separation anxiety and felt like she was being left at the school if a bunch of other kids' names were getting called to get in their cars and her name wasn't getting called. It is much better now that we're in first grade and she understands that mommy's there, mommy's just behind a bunch of people. But I would sit in my car for 45 minutes to an hour before school let out. Yes, I was that parent. And I was never first either, if that tells you anything. But she, sitting in that car, gave me that time to knit. now we are able to walk to school this year. And so we drive to a mutual friend's house that lives a little bit closer to the school, and then we walk. And so because I don't have to leave as early, I'm still given most of that time, but the walking does take a lot of that time out of it, because while if I tried I could knit and walk, I have my son. So, and we're walking on a street with crosswalks and stuff like that. I do not knit when walking because I need to pay attention to him. And I probably should pay attention to the traffic around me as well, but I'm paying attention to him. So I don't knit on the way to and from school anymore like I used to, because I'm not in the pickup line like I used to be. So yes, I do find that I have more knitting time now that the kids are in school. And next year, when my son is in preschool for 5 days a week, I'm gonna be a whole new person. I'm so excited for that. I can't wait. Then Amber of Amie Marie Knits said, what thing have you made? Are you the most proud of what thing have you made are you the most proud of making? Yarn related or otherwise? There are a few things that I'm proud of making, and I think it's just because of what it meant to me at the time. So most recently, the Litmus cowl. Love that thing. It's so pretty. But the reason I'm most proud of it, it was the most knitting I had done on a single project at one given time. The color changes, that wasn't complicated at all, but I had never seamed together a tube like that. The only seaming together I'd ever done was Kitchenerring a toe on a sock, or, you know, stitching together the end of a muscle burrow. So that was a understood but new thing that I had done. Then I would have to say the first sock that I ever knit, because I couldn't believe I knew how to do that. I couldn't believe that I could follow the directions and actually knit the sock without feel like ripping my hair out. And I started out with an afterthought heel, so I cut my yarn. Brand spanking new knitter, and I cut my yarn because I was told to. And I did it, and I did it successfully, and that was so nice. And then in crochet, I would have to say there are two that I'm probably most proud of. One would be the giant Virginia Tech blanket that I made. Corner to corner, 100 by 100. It was a lot of maroon and orange. Oh, sorry. Let me turn my phone on silent. I apologize. Thought I did that when I got my Instagram notification. And then the other one is I did a baby blanket. Excuse me. I did a baby blanket with a name on it, and each letter was a different color. And so I'm proud of that one too, because that was a lot of color changes, but it was also corner to corner. And so I actually keep it really, really simple. When I find what I like, I stick with it and I do it over and over and over again. And then I think I had one more question. Hold on. It's on the next swipe. Yes. K.D. Lee. The letter K, the letter D, L-E-E, sorry, 1988. Like your name, sweetie. They said, what is something that you want to learn how to make, whether it be a new craft or something in the craft that you already do? That's a good question. I personally don't have an interest in spinning. I don't have an interest in like spindle dropping with the wool and stuff like that. None of that really interests me. It actually seems like it would be a little itchy. I'm not into that. I wouldn't say sewing either, because I don't have the room for it, first off. And I I don't know. Sewing just, it's beautiful, and I am so happy to see what people can do with sewing. It's just not something that piques my interest. And by the way, if you heard some rustling, I believe that was my husband who just came down the stairs. And yeah, I just checked that text message that he sent me, and he needed something, and I didn't get up and get it, so my bad. I don't, this isn't even answering your question. I am so sorry. I don't see myself doing anything like that. I could see myself becoming more avid in my cross stitch. I like it. I really do. And I would really enjoy doing more with cross stitch. Diamond painting. I like diamond painting, so I would like to incorporate that a little bit more too, which is just 3D cross stitch. But I guess, I don't know, I would really like to learn like sweater, cardigan, shawl type knitting. I don't know, can you use a 40-inch cord? Do you have to have an interchangeable set? Like the true, and I mean, I guess the easiest way to do it, find a pattern you like, buy the pattern, look at all the recommendations that you need. How much yarn do you need? What needle sizes do you need? Like all of those things would be answered right there in the pattern. That's something I'm scared of is sweater knitting and like cardigan knitting and stuff like that, because I know how much yarn is. I am not immune to the prices of yarn. I know how much, commercial yarn is, and I know how much indie hand-dyed yarn is. And I'm not a small girl. I'll be the first to admit it. A hand knit sweater for me, that's more than $100. More than $100, probably close to $200 in yarn. That's a lot for a sweater that I would then feel I would have to have very special occasions to wear. I do not want anybody to touch me in it. Don't want to drink coffee in it. I wouldn't want to live in it. And that would scare me, and I wouldn't want to do it. So that's what scares me about that. So to answer your question, what do I want to progress with my knitting and stuff? Cross stitch. I want to do better in cross stitch and stuff like that. So, oops. All right. And then reading and watching. Reading. My husband for Christmas, and he let me get it early because they were having a deal, let me have Kindle Unlimited. So I now have access to the Kindle Unlimited library. So please, please, please send me your recommendations. Send them to me on Instagram. Send them to me right down here in the comment section. I don't care which. I want all the recommendations for all of the good things that you have read on Kindle Unlimited. I cannot wait. My goal for 2024 is to get back to my crochet, but also find my love of reading again. Like, I've enjoyed this year in finding new books, but I used to be such an avid reader, and I want to get back to it. So that's my goal for 2024 is to find the love again. Find the love again. Find the love again. Whew, words. So please, please, please tell me what to read on Kindle Unlimited. I can't wait. And along with that, I have been watching Vlogmas of all the people I mentioned earlier, and again, the Fantasy Fangirls people. The sisters, Lexi and Nicole. I love them. They're super relatable. They're around my age. And I just really enjoy listening to them and their dynamic and the deep dives into the episodes, because I am that type of fan. When I find something I love, I go hard and I go deep. And that's what she said. That's what he said. I love to theorize about so much, and they have been so right on so many things. They've also been wrong on so many things. I just love it. I love it so much. I love having someone else truly fangirl over things with. And so I enjoy their podcast as well. And I'm actually not looking to watch any TV shows or anything like that. I kind of want to take a break from just, I wouldn't say the monotony of it, but just the mindlessness of it. I like my podcast. It keeps me engaged because it's an activity that I also do. So there's that. But I'm going to jump off of here tonight. I am going to make sure my husband doesn't need anything else. I am going to get this edited and hopefully posted by Friday so that it is out before Christmas. And I will have everything linked below where you can find me, my Ko-Fi account if you would like to support the podcast, and all links to anything that I've talked about during this episode. I want to say I hope you guys have a very happy holiday season, and I will definitely see you again in 2024, and I can't wait to see how this podcast grows within the year. So thank you guys for watching and subscribing, and I will see you guys again. Bye.